The Z to Z podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the ReviewZed podcast, the game review of the Z to Z podcast. If the game has achievements, then we try to cover it here. I'm your host, Damien, and thank you for listening. If you've listened to the Z to Z podcast in the past, then you're familiar with our format. We bring you a separate weekly show covering just reviews of new and sometimes overlooked Xbox titles. And don't forget to check out the regular Z to Z podcast while you're at it. That show's good too, just like this one, but we have more vitamin D. Hello, and welcome to another of your weekly installments of ReviewZed. I got myself here, Spaz, Damien, with my regular co-host, Warren.
That's a me.
Or Planning 42, whatever you want to go by. Twin.
You can call me whatever you like today.
Yeah. Call me whatever you like, as long as you don't call me late for dinner. Whoa. That was bad.
It can't be late for dinner. It's like Wednesday morning.
That is true. A little bit after our twin birthday. Thanks for all of you listeners out there that wished us one.
Indeed. Thank you.
And for all those that didn't, meh. Whatever. So, let's start with our weekly, well for us, our bi-weekly G-Task team bonus.
That's right. Teamers.
Team. All right. So for you, how many teams are left right now?
Oh my. We're definitely getting down there. We have 47 teams.
Wow. Congrats to all of you that have made it through. Well, we're not out of summer yet. Not with the weather we've been having.
Ugh.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Anyway. What do these wonderful contestants have to look forward to this week?
This week, the bonus on tap is going to be Party Like It's 2018. End the scoring period with your team's gamer score, evenly divisible by 2018. You're going to have to screw up your gamer score again. I'm sorry.
It seems to be like a calming theme now, right?
I kind of like doing it to him. What can I say? But yeah, again, this is your team's score, not the individual scores.
So only one person technically has to mess it up for everybody else, depending, right? Well,
correct.
Yeah, go to 3. You're good. All right. So sounds like fun. Anyway. With that, let's talk about our fun games, plural. That's an S. Might have sounded like a Z. I don't know if I stressed that enough, but technically we played 3 games this week, though. All part of 1. So we are going to talk about The Journey Down trilogy. There's 3 chapters. It's trilogy, right? I'm still waiting. I'm sure with ID at Xbox, I could see somebody come out with a trilogy that's 4 parts.
Well, there is the Hitchhiker's trilogy, which is increasingly inaccurately named as such.
Yeah. So anyway, this is The Journey Down. It's a trilogy. There's chapters 1, 2, and 3. It's released for Xbox One on June 22nd, 2018, published by Blitworks, and the developer is Sky Goblin. Actually, this is a much older game. It came out in 2010 for PC, and it is actually, even though you could buy the bundle trilogy for $39.99, each individual component is $19.99. So
well,
buy the trilogy and get it.
The second 2 are. The first one's actually only $9.99.
So you're only saving $10.
You're saving $10 by getting the bundle. Yep.
All right. I thought you guys were saving 20. My bad. You're only saving 10 getting the bundle, but it's yeah. How about I turn over you to give a little bit of the background and however much you want to spoil the story, because I guess you got to spoil some of it too.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. Well, first off, this is a point and click. It's going to take you maybe 2 hours, probably less than 2 hours actually. And that's really dependent on whether or not you use a guide for your first playthrough or you kind of just feel your way through it yourself. Your second playthrough is going to be pretty quick because by that point you'll know everything you need, and trying to get one particular achievement is going to be the hard one. There's an achievement that asks you to do a speed run. We'll get back to that in a minute.
But that's only for the first chapter. There is no speed runs in chapter 2 and chapter 3.
Ah, fair enough. Unfortunately, I have not completed 2 or 3 yet, so I really can't speak much to those. But at least to start your story off, you're playing the part of Bwana, who is a young man who was adopted off the streets of Kingsport Bay when he was just a wee lad. Him and his brother together. They're adopted by Kaunandodo, apparently a somewhat well-known figure in the area. He was a pilot, and apparently your adoptive father has decided to disappear on you, leave you and your brother to live on your own, and apparently rack up one crazy electric bill.
But he didn't go out for milk and never came back.
Well, we don't really know what he went out for. They, at least not as of after the first chapter.
Yeah. And just to kind of allude, so, and we were talking about this offline before. It's in this fictitious town of Kingsport. However, you seem very Jamaican, Rasta by the influence. However, the developer is a Swedish-based company. I just want to note the irony in that. So,
I mean, yeah, exactly. And that's the funniest thing about this game, and that's probably what gives it a unique flavor, considering how most point and clicks we've played so many point and clicks at this point. You have to have something to set it apart, and in this case, it's a very Caribbean theme. There's a lot of like face masks, which kind of evoke like an African nature of some sort, which I guess the developers said they were shooting for. The accent is through and through Jamaican. Definitely unique.
Yeah, I did think they did a good job. And this is, for me, having played through, I didn't want to use a guide because, to your point, the games are fairly... If you're using a guide and don't have to figure anything out, yeah, you're going to burn through these chapters. However, to get some enjoyment out of it, and I haven't found anything that was over... I just think of like, when I think of like some of the classic point and clicks, like a Secret of Monkey Island type, those are the puzzles that you get stuck on for days. You'll be sitting there going, I don't get it. I need to have this epiphanic breakthrough. Nothing in these games was that over the top puzzling. There was definitely things where you're like, okay, I got to figure out what to do next. But it wasn't like hey, this would take me 2 hours. I really need to burn. I really need to get this
instead
done
of staring at one screen going, how do I solve this for some time? It's these guys create the puzzles and how do I go about finishing off this next objective? In this case, playing with your airplane. Who doesn't want to play with an airplane, right?
That's true.
So yeah, this crazy woman, as far as you can tell, this woman comes up to you and starts talking about this old book with like swirlies on the cover. I don't know, I'd be a little whacked out, but apparently these kids thought nothing of it, and they take her into their house and offer to help her find this book. So,
after they tried to sell her gas.
After they tried to sell her gas with no plane. Yes.
With no plane.
So you have to kind of wonder about these kids to begin with. In any case, and as the story advances, obviously you have to kind of help this woman get off to solving the mystery she's trying to solve, which and throughout the game you learn more about the Underland, which is this mysterious place that you're not supposed to go. Your parents warn you about. There's children's stories about, and apparently now it's illegal to even look down there to see what's going on. So there's something crazy going on. And
it's all about mining.
Of course.
It's capitalism.
Gotta love capitalism.
Do.
So that's pretty much the game. I mean, that's like the backstory of the game, how you start. I mean, you have to make your way around, fix your plane, and off you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think that's a good way to segue, because parts chapter 2 and 3 are just the continuation of after you've gotten because I'm trying to remember for the life of me her name. Lena?
Oh God. I want to say Lita, maybe?
Lita. Started with an O. I know that. This book that you're looking for that your adoptive father had. Yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, here it is randomly, and you're now going to journey to this place. And yeah, the subsequent 2 chapters are your adventures, misadventures getting there and whatnot. Again, not to want to really spoil any of the story, because a lot of this series, for me, this series was actually really well done in terms of having done a lot of the Artifacts Mundi point and click games where you're just I don't care about the story, let's just get through for the most part. This was definitely more, because it wasn't so hard and the chapters weren't too long. You actually just kind of followed along, at least for me, what was happening. So it did suck you in, sort of. I mean, the characters weren't like the most developed, so you're not like, oh, I really got to figure out, like, but it was at least good enough to be like, yeah, I want to read the dialogue, figure out what's going on, and kind of piece it together. So it brought you through the story, but it wasn't an overly long story, if that makes sense.
Oh, exactly. And I don't know. It's the best thing about it, I think, was just the way that it kind of all worked together. It was a very simple idea that they gave you, and that you can either take your time, explore the environment, and have some fun with it. Which I would add, if you're actually playing legitimately, not using a guide, you actually kind of have to for at least one puzzle at the start of the game. Maybe that's their way to teach you, hey guys, look at stuff, click on things. Um, that's all the hint I'll give you on that. But um, yeah, other than that, I mean, it's funny. Like the cut scenes, everything is funny. It's cutesy. It's silly. It's at least the first chapter. Everything is just hilarious. Like the way things work, what you have to do, how things get solved. It's a very mischievous game.
Yeah. And then, so for the achievement players out there, the nice thing with this being 3 separate chapters is each chapter comes with a full 1,000 gamer score. So you're going to get 3,000 gamer score for completing all 3 of the trilogy. And by and large, each chapter really only has 2 to 3 missables, and I air quote missables. They're usually secret achievements that require you to do something in certain scenes. So even if you don't want to read a guide, if you go onto TA and you look at each chapter, just look at the one that's bracketed as secret, and it'll give you a description of what you needed to do. And you're like, okay, when I'm in this, because none of the areas are like, oh, I know where that is when I'm playing it, but it doesn't really give you enough of a hint to do anything that would go, oh, that it helps me solve a puzzle. It's just like, oh, while you're doing X, oh, maybe I should click this option, and you'll get it done. So again, to save you, especially in chapter 2 and 3, because you don't have to replay it for a speed run, yeah, you kind of save yourself the, playing them through once. Not that they're bad or that long, but I don't know. If you've already beat through the thing, I'd hate to go through another 45 minutes just to do something you could have easily clicked on while you were there.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, I think overall the gameplay itself was good. The graphics were nice. I mean, for considering, the cost and the length of the game, it wasn't, I mean, it's definitely one of the nicer looking games in terms of the animation and, thought and process put into it. So I think overall, for, again, what you're getting, it's definitely a well polished game. Just, it's not that long. I mean, the puzzles aren't super hard, and overall the chapters are fairly quick. Even if you're not using a guide, you're going to get them done in an afternoon.
One thing I'd like to note that at least to me set this game apart from other point and clicks is that oftentimes point and clicks require you to combine objects in a very specific order. This game does not. If you have to combine 2 objects, either use one on another, it doesn't matter what order you combine them. And after you've played the game once, if you're making your second playthrough to go do your speed run, you can actually kind of prep up a lot of stuff ahead of time that you might not have thought of otherwise. Sometimes you have to still advance the plot through conversation. Other times you can just kind of try it on your own and see if it gets it done.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain things like you have to have initiated certain conversations to get something to be clickable, i.e. if you click it prior knowing something's there but you hadn't triggered certain events, it's just like, oh, this is interesting, I wonder why I would ever need this,
Exactly.
kind of is one of those. Yeah, but in terms of when I did my speed run through the first, I think it was supposed to be under 40 minutes, and I probably easily did it in 33 without, having to do it more than once. Just went back through. It was fairly, straightforward. You kind of knew where you needed to go, and you could miss a lot of those optional dialogue and pieces. Just, okay, I know this is the triggering event, and just do this. So you're like, I don't need to talk to these people because it doesn't matter.
Exactly. A warning, on the other hand, if you, like me, are just mashing the A button to skip through dialogue, be careful when it starts getting to the end of the conversation, because you'll just start into the whole thing again. I've done that so many times.
Oh, that's the worst when you start the same dialogue 4 times. You're like, stop, and there's no way to cancel it. You can't press like X or no. You gotta advance through it, and then you click it one more time by accident. You're like, ah!
Yep. Did that on my speed run at least 3 times, and I'm just like mentally screaming. I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
well.
no, as I said, the good news is you only have to do the speed run on the first chapter.
Awesome.
2 and 3, you don't.
But, all in all, it's a really lighthearted game. It's definitely funny there.
Yeah, so I guess the question comes down to a $40 price point. I think in terms of the amount of gamer score you get for 3,000 gamer score for $40, that's not bad. My thing is the amount of playtime for the $40. I don't feel you necessarily get, I mean, in terms of presentation and looks, really spot on. Not the most super challenging puzzles, but that's kind of the problem. At $40, you're going to burn through this in, I'm going to guess, 10.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not, especially if they don't have a secondary achievement for like a speed run or anything. There's really no impetus for a replay.
Yeah. I mean, story's not bad. I mean, 40 is not a bad price. It's fair considering you're getting 3, but I'm not, for me, it's not screaming like quite enough of a smoking deal. I mean, when you're realizing each chapter is $20 for an hour to 2 hours of playing, you're going, that's kind of steep.
No, agreed. Very much agreed.
Yeah. But if you like point and click games, it is definitely one of the better ones I think we played in terms of overall package. My only complaint is probably on the shorter end.
Yep.
What about
No,
yourself?
I totally agree. As far as the quality of the game itself, overall, it is a very beautiful game. It is very fun to play, but it is just way too short. I mean, if you can find this game on a sale, especially if you can get this bundle on a sale, then yeah, I would grab it. But yeah, $40 is just way too much, even for the 3,000 gamer score. I mean, like, literally, this is a 2-hour tops game, and the other 2 games are probably going to be half of that. So you're looking at 4 hours tops for $40. It's $10 for an hour of play.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the journey down. That's how it's going to go down.
So the journey down goes down. It's a good game, but pricey.
So look for a sale, but definitely worth checking it out because, as I said, I think we both enjoy it. Just as I said, a little bit of buyer beware on that, the pricing of it, but otherwise everything else about it, I would say definitely hits all the marks. So again, journey down. Anything else, Warren, before you head off with me?
No, I think that's spot on.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and until next week with Prue and Mango, this is Spaz
And Planting.
Have a good week.
Peace.
See ya.